Sweden, Lion of the North. Probably the biggest in terms of population and industry out of all the Nordic, so they should make for a very interesting playthrough. However, national spirit's not great. Hungerskuld, or however you would pronounce that. If you get less than 65% stability, you're gonna have a bad day. How bad, you ask?
Oh, I bet you'd like to know. I bet you'd like to know indeed.
This bad. It's not gonna be great. We also don't have any ammunition apparently, so that's not good. The king is still around, more on that later, but he's a bit annoying in terms of political power. Neutral foreign policy, it is what it is. And Folkhemmet, I think this represents Sweden's focus on social democracy. Good for stability, bad for war support, good for infrastructure and civilian factories, bad for anything military. At least this offsets your civilian economy, so that's nice. You can build some civs early on. Sweden has a very thick focus tree with the shared focus tree for all the Nordics on the right here. We might touch it, we might not. Let's see where this run goes. It all starts with the Defense Act, allowing you to reshuffle your political leaders. More on that later. On the left here is the military branch with navy, air, and a bit of a mixed bag in terms of armor and infantry equipment and national spirits here. For instance, defense in depth leads to a nice amount of defensive bonus, mostly focused on infantry. And finally getting mobilization of society for massive military bonuses, but massive hits to stability and war support. On the right, land-air warfare starts giving you bonuses for that. Land and air warfare. Then down in center here, urbanization. This mostly focuses around your civilian industry, giving you bonuses to that civilian industry, giving you the choice between either getting some support for fascism and unaligned on the right side, plus war support, but you lose out on stability bonuses. And on the left here, this is mostly focused on getting a little bit more stability, but it boosts your democracy and communism. Depending on what path you want, you'll have to make the choices. Again, to balance out that war support against that stability, because it's very important not to drop your stability too low. And then the two political branches continue the second industrial revolution, the historical path, which leads to democratic war cabinet. Pretty much the historical Swedish option, where you can choose to go to war if you're the player, but the AI never will, or rather shouldn't. And on the left here, align more closely with the Landsorganisationen. This is communism. You become discount Soviet Union, essentially. And the right side has more spicy options. The Nordic Defense Council. This is a democratic Sweden that takes a more proactive approach to defense and will try to defend her brothers. Very noble, very interesting. I hope to play this one time. But today we will be looking closer at preventing a red dictatorship. This leads to non-aligned, kind of fascists, or fascist, very fascists. Pretty much monarchy with a slight dash of fascism or straight up fascism, which then branches further into either being Germany's or being a independent fascist Sweden. Options, many options, but today I think we'll meet with the king and make Sweden great again. Yes, the lion in the north will roar once more. Construction, I'm thinking we lead with some infrastructure, follow that up with some civs there, and then some more infrastructure up north, mostly because of the vast amount of resources there. Now, I'm not filling the infrastructure entirely because there's a focus that boosts the infrastructure in these tiles by 1, so that would be a waste. There we go, and then just straight down to more civs. More civs is good. Once we get to 40 civilian factories, at least we don't have to worry about our stability as much. All right, research, just do the basics. Military factories make more guns, always need more guns. Don't forget, assign those military industrial organizations to everything. We'll finish building all the ships that are currently in the queue. I don't expect to use these submarines much, but we'll finish them off anyway. Then I'll build some convoys. I think I'll build 25. Yes, I have plans for these. And then we'll finish up with more destroyers because the fleet, well, it's a big fleet, but it's almost entirely submarines and heavy cruisers. We're gonna need some screens for that. We'll get those eventually. Then the army, we'll group them all up. 12 divisions, not bad, not great. And we'll permanently exercise these until we're ready, get some army experience out of them. And we'll switch them all to this template, which is horrible, but it just requires guns. If you were to train them in the template that is slightly better, we'd be burning a lot of support equipment and artillery, which would be bad. So everybody gets to be militärområde. I don't know how to pronounce any of this. Let's get going and see if we can make Sweden great again. I'll delete all my airplanes and then sell them off. I don't intend to use them because Well, honestly, they're quite terrible. And I love the international market. I'll sell all of my airplanes at the highest price and people will buy them. Let's see. Switzerland wants to buy my fighters. Okay. And I wonder if anyone... Yep, the French want to buy my naval bombers. Fantastic. I just need to get everything else sold. There we go. Germany wants to buy my CAS. All right. We've sold all of our airplanes for a profit. And all that, once it gets sold and transported to the buyer, it adds to my economic capacity surplus. Essentially, this will boost our construction using our own civs. It doesn't give us extra civs, but for a limited amount of time, depending on how much stuff we sold, the civs we do have work more efficiently. First focus complete, and we need to choose. We're not getting elections, but our glorious leader has decided to step down. He's pretty mid anyway. He doesn't get any bonuses. Now we have 3 options. Farmers Party, we get a little bit of war support, but it doesn't really matter much. Our infantry equipment becomes cheaper, and everything else becomes significantly more expensive. Not great. Second option is just bad all around. I might try it to see where it leads eventually, but not today. And then the third option is not bad, 6% research speed, but I don't want the stability hit. So I'm thinking we go with the top option. In a couple of months, we'll get elections anyway, so he doesn't need to stick around for too long. Congratulations, we now have Axel here. At least our guns will be cheaper for the foreseeable future. Now, focuses. I cannot go to the enemy stirs because need world tension, need war support. Don't have either of those. Let's start work towards making this country a little better. Urbanization is the key here. This will allow us to balance war support and stability and get some bonuses. And eventually we can work towards seizing Landsverk, where we give up 16% stability, but get 16% war support. So we need to find somewhere to get that stability offset. Easiest way to do that is going to be balancing these around and hiring certain political advisors and maybe a dash of improved worker conditions. This is the kind of run I think I'll need to make a spreadsheet for. Urbanization is done. I think we get hygienic housing next. Doesn't look like much, but resource gain efficiency is cool, but it also gives us a bonus for a state modifier of extra 12% construction speed to civs, and it will expand out from our capital, going to 1 state per month. So pretty good. And I'm actually going to stop exercising the army. It wasn't really giving me the XP I would have liked. Dispersed or concentrated? I don't know, so I'll just go dispersed. Next election cycle, the 1936 Swedish general election in May, despite this being labeled for September. Okay then. Either we bring back Per Albin Hansen in his Super Saiyan form, more political power, more stability, cheaper trade laws, cheaper economy laws, but we get a hit to war support and a hit to conscription laws. So not terrible, actually pretty good. We can keep Axel. I didn't think we'll do that. Or we can appoint that moderate guy. He will give us 6% research speed. That's actually also pretty good considering we no longer take the stability hit. But I think I want this guy. Yeah, he will help us make Sweden great again. Now with him in charge, these guys no longer cost us much. So I'm going to hire this woman. Yes, she costs stability, which is bad. Yes, she only sticks around for as long as we are democratic or communist. But while we have her, we have so many good options. So I'm going to hire her. Buy stability, and we're going to take a look at the options she gives us. She unlocks these decisions. The first 2 aren't that impressive, so not that impressive, but the last one, reduce the barriers of political entry for women. This is massive. Conscription laws, trade laws, economy laws, and political advisors become so much cheaper. We can now go to partial or war economy for 78 PP. Limited conscription now costs 123, and political advisors are significantly cheaper as well. So I think this woman is worth the cost. I could also go up to free trade because it would definitely be funny to sell even more stuff. I should probably exercise the Navy as well, so we get some Navy experience. I want to make some destroyers. Let's go grab work projects for the unemployed, another save more stability, and then we can start making some choices down there. All right, we got enough Navy XP to design a destroyer. This isn't fancy. It doesn't have to be. It just needs to protect my heavy cruisers, and cheap is good. That's more stability, and now we gotta make some choices. What I think we'll do is take defense above all, give up stability for war support and some mills, plus a bonus to our non-aligned. We're gonna need that. Then we'll take state-paid vacations. Again, more political power, more stability, more production efficiency cap for a slight hit to our consumer goods. Privately managed vacations just isn't that good, I think. And then we'll reject the Saltsjö-Baden agreement, more war support for a little bit of stability hit, and a little more non-aligned support. And from there, we'll see. I'm probably going to take the Royal Institute of Technology for the research slot and the ball bearings because I want to sell everybody my balls. It has some really good bonuses we can get. I'm thinking we get this guy. We get extra political power gain because political power is going to be an issue for Sweden. It's already not great and it's going to get worse. And from there, maybe get like improved worker conditions. vacations. Get extra stability. We need to get stability up. I'm gonna hire the Minister of Justice. This could have been a mistake, but we'll see. We got our state-paid vacations. Let's reject that agreement. 5% stability, but we can afford the hit, I think. Let's spend some political power getting the army reformer, get more army experience, get it early, that's good. And I think my next choice is probably going to be improve worker conditions to just work on that stability. We're so close to that stability mark. Let's improve those worker conditions. We don't have an economy anyway. Let's also work on some air stuff. We might want to use our mighty industry to dabble with the air. Ooh, Saab. They made some really good cars and then they stopped making really good cars and went bankrupt. But, you know, I remember Saab. Ball bearings are done. Let's move on and work our way towards seizing Landsverk. Soon China is going to do its thing, or rather Japan is, and we want to be ready. That will spark world tension high enough for us to actually do something. We'll try to hold on to some political power because I would very much like to switch over to at least partial mobilization soon, as well as getting a limited conscription. Stability should be all right for a little bit, especially now that I'm doing those improved worker conditions. Let's get this. Gotaverken and then suck up to the Germans. I think what I want to do is use my powers of being Sweden to bully everyone around me. So we'll use this mighty focus tree here to get the Baltics, to get Finland, to get Denmark, and to get Norway. And then with our powers combined, we will be Scandinavia. And then we'll piggyback off Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union to do our crusade against bolshevism. That will allow us to kill the Soviet Union and get reclaiming the Rus, giving us a lot of claims in, well, Russia. And let's sell Germany some ball bearings. So we can secure foodstuffs. This gives us a little bit of stability and weekly manpower. It's not much, but it could be what you need to stay out of the danger zone. Military expertise is pretty nice. This gives you 20 XP of all things. Very cool. Knowledge sharing is a research bonus to either ships, radar, synthetics, or support tech, or we can just pretend we never talked to them in the first place. Let's get that military experience. Maybe I can design some airplanes. Sweet. Thanks, Germany. You can have my ball bearings. We start the old enemy stirs. Now we prevent a red dictatorship. Ooh, is going to hurt our stability even more. Let's also hire the Minister of Defense when that happens so we can start pumping out a significant amount of civilian military factories. We will need a lot of mills if we are to make Sweden great again. We're only 5 civs away from getting the Hungerskuld gone. Maybe tanks would be a good investment. Let's see if we can get some mediums going. You know, Sweden can be a full-fledged major. Let's try to aim for that. And now we move on to undermine the fascists, meet with the king, attack the Landsorganisationen and the king in council. These are all terrible. So for 2 years, we get a hit to political power gain. And then for another 2 years, we get another hit to political power gain, a hit to stability. All of this is pretty, and we'll make the big template a little bigger. Something more to my tastes. This. I will add some artillery if we have some left over. I think this should do it. When this one finishes, Hungerskuld should be gone. Yes, it's gone! Now with this very thick industry, 40 civs, we can definitely start militarizing and militarizing quickly. We're gonna start making trucks. We're gonna start making everything. Alrighty, now for king and council, we will flip to non-aligned. We will be the royalists and we'll get many, many good things. I might want to switch out the army reformer now while the other guys are a little more cheap. Army organization's probably better. Let's switch out for you while you're cheap. First thing we do when we get the king is going for the Baltics. I would like to take out the Baltics, get a nice amount of their industry, and then we'll start bullying our neighbors. So let's prepare to bully the Baltics first. We'll also go superior firepower. It's just better. Okay, so apparently I've not been recording and I can't remember where my last recording stopped. I'm so sorry. My head is not in this. So, what did we do? Let me get a quick rundown here. We worked our way down here towards the king in council, essentially getting rid of the democracy in exchange for more monarchy, down to the counter-revolution, and scramble for the Baltics. That gave us war goals on all 3 of these bad boys. Mills are coming in nicely. We're getting a little bit of gas, a little bit of air, trucks. The usual good stuff is being built and being produced very, very nicely. Sweden does have a nice industrial base to work with now. We had a lot of civilian factories just to get rid of the Volkshemmet. You need 40 for that, which we fortunately were able to build. And now we're just building mill after mill after mill, and we'll sprinkle in some synthetics every now and then once we get some more build slots. We definitely need more build slots. Congratulations, Latvia, you're about to disappear. And another virtually uncontested naval landing. Again, puppet them, take war reps, take everything, confirm an exit, and we now have generated 7.8% pool tension. In theory, we can still take out Lithuania. Yeah, I think I'll eat you now. Yeah, no guarantee there. So goodbye, Lithuania. You are now joining the glorious Swedish Empire. Yeah, this is not a real problem, I think. Goodbye, Lithuania. Goodbye. I want to say you put up a good fight, but you really didn't. Again, just puppet them, take their industry, take their resources, and confirm an exit. There we go. Just make sure that if you do this a little early, you don't want Memel. You never want to take Lithuania as a puppet if they still have Memel. You're gonna fight the Germans. Plot twist, you don't want to fight the Germans. All right, let's bully Denmark and queue up a couple of extra men. Now that we are mobilizing more manpower, we can afford to make maybe another 10 divisions, hopefully. All right, Denmark gives up Bornholm. Great, let's keep bullying them and demand their Atlantic stuff as well. So Iceland, Greenland, Faroe. And as per usual, we have named our divisions after our lovely channel members. So these first 24 will be named after the supporters for the channel. If you want to see yourself on the battlefield and you want to help out the channel, feel free to sign up for a channel membership. I have to do this manually because my mod doesn't work, but hey, at least we have something to do, right? Anyway, let us proceed to bully Denmark. Always a good idea. Germany's doing its thing down south. Now, Germany is eventually going to turn north. We do have a non-aggression pact, but it doesn't last. So, building up a spy agency, and I'm going to plop a spy in Berlin that does nothing but apply diplomatic pressure. Hopefully that way they can be persuaded to extend their peace deal with us. All right, the Soviets are going to fight Finland. That's good for us. Why? We can do the Åland issue here where we bully and threaten the Finns into accepting our ownership of Åland. There's been a long-standing dispute between Finland and Sweden about those islands. But this one only works if the Finnish army is substantially smaller than the Swedish one. We could, however, also go up here and get the Åland question. Not only do we get the island, we also get a civilian factory there, and Finland is more likely to hand over control in this scenario in exchange for a little something something. And I think when they're at war, they're gonna feel the heat and probably consider that to be a good idea right now. First spy, Raoul Wallenberg. For those of you who don't know, look him up. He saved a lot of Jews in Hungary. Diplomatic pressure on the Germans, yeah. All right, Denmark agrees to be bullied. Ooh, and the White Death is out there. Right, what that does is give us Iceland as a puppet, as well as Faroe and Greenland as controlled territory. Iceland is a bit of a problem. Currently, there is no check in place to stop them from seeking American protection. I hope they fix that or change this, but as long as they are not a subject of Denmark, they're democratic, and the US is democratic, and they control all of Iceland, they can just ask to be a puppet for the United States if we are at war. So when I go to war, I lose Iceland. I don't want to lose Iceland, so we're gonna rush dealing with Iceland. First, let's get the Åland question in, and then we continue to bully Denmark. Obviously, we must continue to bully Denmark. Let's also bring the Swedish army home. I don't need them sitting on that border. I can instead replace them with my puppets divisions. We're just gonna keep asking people for divisions and make our army look a lot bigger than it actually is. Let's go grab some better tanks as well. We have a lot of stuff to research. Finland accepts for a price, so we get the island and a free civilian factory plus a core, and in exchange we build a little slower for a year while Finland builds a little faster. That seems worth it. Yeah, we'll bully the Danes and then we'll go for this focus. This will allow us to start integrating those bullied nations, and I definitely want to integrate Iceland first before they decide to leave. That seems like a good idea. We've got our improved mediums. Let's start putting them into production. I want the tanks to lead the charge here. We don't have the manpower for an infantry-based army. Well, not yet. I just don't want to risk losing too many tanks. All right, let's see. People always complain that my tank design is bad, which it very well might be, but we'll see if we can make something out of this. This is probably not the world's greatest tank, but I think it will serve. It's relatively cheap, so I can make a lot of them. It's got enough armor, I think. Its speed isn't what I like, but I can get this up later, so congratulations. We are now making the Stridsvagn 41. Should also make some better airplanes. We've improved our airplane design, so let's get the best engine I can. I like cannons and then heavy machine guns. Can I afford this? Yes. Can I afford adding something else? Maybe armor plates. They tend to do well. Fuel and armor plates. That's all I can afford. All right, let's make that one. We are now Det Stor Nordiska Riket. Nice color of Prussian blue, I want to say. And we have a bunch of new decisions. here, I think. So we can integrate each and every one of our puppets one by one for 120 political power, and it takes 180 days. We will annex them and core all the land, which is great. And if we have annexed all of our subjects, including Estonia and Latvia, we've conquered Luga, Leningrad, Mecklenburg, and Hanover, we can proclaim the restoration of the great Swedish Empire, in which we will proclaim King Gustav V as King Gustav the Great. Yeah, that's gonna be a long way off, but I think we found the goal for this campaign. Fortunately, Norway decided to agree and give us the north of Norway, which will build up for more mills, and we're now rushing towards the United Kingdoms of Sweden and Norway. We'll make Norway our puppet once again. If you want to play this, it's important to sort of rush this. After joining the anti-Soviet pact, we have about a year and a half before Germany will do Operation Weserübung. So Weserübung is this one. It's where they declare war on Norway and Denmark. They will delay this for a year and a half if Sweden has done that focus. We definitely want to rush that. I don't want Germany eating Norway or Denmark early, because if they do, we'll have to fight the Germans. What do you say, old pal? Yes. They said yes. Congratulations, Norwegian army. You're part of the team now. Guard some ports, I guess. I don't intend to use these guys much. And now we deal with Finland by first demanding they demilitarize Lappi. I could make a faction and draw them in and be like two Nordic brothers fighting the greater evil. But, no, today Sweden is their top dog. All right, and the Finns agreed to demilitarize Lappi. Next step is to fully integrate them as a puppet. Finland shall be Sweden again. Hopefully they'll agree. It appears we have integrated Iceland properly. All right, I'll just disband these troops. Unless I want to change them to my actual divisions. Yes, I'll change them to my actual divisions instead. And we shall send them to the front lines. Of course, we must rename these after our channel members. All right, I'm thinking we start a collaboration government on the Soviet Union. All right, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I'm safe scumming this a little bit because Finland's not playing nice. So this event should make Finland our puppet because there's a couple of things that it takes into account. Military size. Well, speaking of military, we have 76 divisions and I can get more just by requesting troops there. That should make the army even bigger. Relationships are high. They're as high as they're gonna be. I am a player, they are an AI. That also tips things into our favor. They have given up Åland, which adds to the calculations. They have demilitarized Lappi, which also adds to the calculations. They're not in a faction, which adds to the calculation. Like, adding everything up, they should cave. But, again, I'll let you in on a little secret. I've done this 3 times now. They haven't caved, which has me a little worried. Maybe we should apply some diplomatic pressure on Finland as well. Maybe guarantee their independence? I don't know if that even matters. The question of Finland, we are going to give them the event to puppet them. Going to slow the game down. They agreed, so 3rd time's the charm. So it appears you can kind of safe scum this event. Anyway, now we can continue on. I could do the Crusade against Bolshevism, but I'm gonna wait for the Germans to open the attack. That way I can come in and backdoor the Soviets. A lot easier that way. While we wait for that, let's work on the industry. We can allow Landsverk to operate independently, which is even more beneficial to us, makes the Germans even more friendly. And then we can work on these things that will improve our armor, our everything. Could also improve the Volvos some more. We can make this country great again. A lot of good stuff here, but let's start by allowing Landsverk to operate independently. There we go. German interest in Scandinavia. They just got their war goals on Denmark and Norway. Denmark's gonna be no problem. We annex them and their war goal will go away, but they'll still keep the one on Norway. And it's gonna be 180 days before we integrate Norway. So we need to finesse this non-aggression pact. And Denmark has been integrated. We got a little bit of manpower, got a couple of extra fresh troops, which means I have to rename all of these guys to channel members manually. In one day, the non-aggression pact, 2 days, the non-aggression pact can be broken. In an effort to keep the Germans from breaking the non-aggression pact early, I've stacked my border. So this is all of my divisions. They're there just to look intimidating, I suppose. And then I have put all of these guys over on the border with Lithuania in case it takes this border into account as well. I just need to buy enough time. Like, I need to buy a month A month is what I need to buy just so my spy gets back here. I definitely regret doing this. This was so risky. I shouldn't have done it. I don't even have enough political power to hire the advisor to give me another spy. Oh god, that is a lot of Germans. Oh, that is a lot of Germans. Oh god, I'm gonna need to stack everything I have on that border. Everything has to get stacked there just to keep them from declaring war. Oh, I have made a mistake. I made such a mistake here. Oh, they went for the Soviets. Okay, we might still have this. We might still get this. Okay, we will grab Crusade against bolshevism. Yes. And it looks like Finland also broke. Despite being my puppet, they just do the continuation war anyway. Anyway, and one day Norway should flip, so I'm gonna delete these units. I mean, return them all to their original owners. And we have integrated Norway, and we have inherited their many divisions. Let's convert them into something a little more useful. Okay, so that gives me a couple of armies. Germany no longer has a war goal, so I don't have to worry. What I do have to worry about, very sadly, is this massive Soviet presence on my border. We're gonna start putting some of our tanks into the field. Maxi and Hendrik, you are first. The division is reasonable. It's not exactly what I would have liked to have. It's not optimal. I'm a little short on organization, but I think they'll work for now. I should get more doctrines as well, and hopefully they will serve to drive the Soviets back, maybe? I will need to upgrade the railways. Oh, this is all falling apart because Finland's bugged. If Finland wasn't bugged, they wouldn't be in this war and I could do what I wanted. Yeah, I think Finland's gonna be survive long enough. All right, Germany, you can have your military access. I don't care. We also have somewhat of an air force. Let us make sure they do their jobs. I usually just assign them to a front line because I am admittedly a little lazy when it comes to handling the air. Our crusade against Bolshevism starts now. Sweden will have its vengeance. It will have its redo of the Great Northern War. We will reclaim the Rus and we will drive the Soviets out. And I need to hoard all of my political power because I'm going to burn manpower doing this. Ideally, I'd have a very conservative offensive here because I don't want to burn all this manpower, but I need to push back fast before Finland just completely folds. With a little luck, we can still get a nice offensive going. We have Murmansk encircled. Let's mop that up, and we continue pushing south. And if I use my armor appropriately, I can use them to drive here towards Viipuri, and then cut off a nice section of the Soviet front. It's always easier to just destroy the Soviet divisions and not fight them. How's the Air Force doing? It is quite literally doing nothing. All right, then. All right. Nice to have you on board there. We have to go to service by requirement as soon as possible because we are out of manpower and stability isn't too great either. So we have a pretty massive boost to our offensive capabilities, and every time we take a major city, so Leningrad, Stalingrad, Moscow. Oh god, the Russians are the Germans are already. Oh, I'm not even gonna get everything that I wanted out of this. I'll have to fight the Germans. The absolutely ridiculous layout of these supply hubs isn't really helping our offensive either, but we'll get it done. Still, could be worse, I guess. Tanks are still carving through the Soviet ranks. Oh, one more tile, and at least I'll have the area around Helsinki encircled. I'm also convoy-raiding the hell out of it, so I don't think they'll be able to pull out without serious losses. I may need to ease up on the offensive, though, because manpower issues are issues. Damn it. Oh, I'm being counterattacked, and my tanks are not doing as well as I would have liked, probably because it is snow, deep snow, very cold, not able to take the supply hubs that I need. It is very much not fun right now. Oh, come on. Now I have to watch as Germany walks to Moscow and Stalingrad virtually unopposed because apparently the entire Soviet army decided to fight me instead. This could definitely have gone better, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I'll make a smaller encirclement. I'm now getting into terrain that I can actually work with, and we'll retake Helsinki. It's not amazing, but it's something. You know, it's not even something. It's just not gonna work. Nothing I've tried works. Fine, all-out offensive then. I now also have all of the Finnish troops for all the good that will do me. All right, now let's see if I can get to Leningrad before the Germans do. Service by requirement. All right. I guess we're doing that. And now I'll need to save manpower to go up to war economy. Actually, no, I need to get stability up. Nice little encirclement there. That's more Russians gone. So you want to destroy the Russian army, not just endlessly push a line back, because that is going to end up very badly for you. And at least we've killed off a good amount of the Soviet army, but there's so much more of it left that I don't want to fight. Yes! Our armor at least made it to Leningrad. Let's get the Volkov as well. A small win. It's better than nothing. It is better than nothing. Let's keep the offensive going. It is important that we push past now. Create an encirclement using the German front next, and then hopefully take some more of the area. I'm somewhat tempted to join the Axis and start asking for land so I can grab it cheaply in the peace deal. Let's grab political loyalty here, get our stability up a little bit more, but oh boy, it is not looking too pretty. If I join the Axis, I can ask for some land, and I can leave the faction at any time. As long as I don't join the war, I can leave the faction at any time. I'm not going to join any of their wars. I'm not going to fight the Allies, and I can leave the faction as long as we kill the Soviets. Okay, and I can ask for some stuff. All right, they'll give me some stuff. That's nice. Push the Russians out. We're going to set up a small defensive line here using my puppets division. This terrain is way too terrible to even bother with. The tanks have done well in pushing. I'm conserving as much manpower as I can. I've already wasted too much of it. I need to find the supply hubs and push through, linking up with the main front. So if I can go from Yaroslavl to Vologda, and then from Vologda to that area there, I can create mayhem for the Russians or the Soviets. Let's try that. Come on, we're breaking through. We're breaking through. Come on. Up here is a massive delay here because of the stupid river crossing that I somehow am unable to overcome, but it doesn't matter. I am going to overcome it anyway. We are going to do it. Come on, we're gonna meet. We're gonna meet. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Make it happen. Make it happen. Come on. We've done it! We shouldn't have, but we did. Make sure it doesn't just collapse in on itself. Attack, attack, crush the pocket. That's a good amount of Soviet divisions gone. When we can kill them off, we can then redirect our efforts to taking up there, maybe Arkhangelsk, make a naval landing there, make a push towards Kazan. Down south, I should probably help out with Stalingrad and Baku as well. Okay, okay, I'll use my tanks for that, but everything's going a little better now. I think we killed off a reasonable number of Soviet divisions here. That was nice. That was very cool. Now, while the north is going terribly, I'm diverting my tanks to the south. Take Baku, take the Russian oil, and then maybe help for a push on Stalingrad. That is going to be annoying as hell to capture, as always. Again, I'm just building a couple supply hubs. I know that I've said it before, how you want to approach this: encircle and destroy, reduce the Russian army as much as you can. I've just not had as much success as I would have liked destroying the Russian army. It's still quite big. I'm resorting to stopgap measures. I'm not proud of this. I'm not proud of this, but it has to be done. Now, in today's episode of doing stupid things with tanks, I'm just trying to cut as much of the Red Army into pieces as I can, not allowing them to withdraw too far. I still need to take Stalingrad, which is going to be a massive pain. Again, supply is an issue. Cannot push past here. I'm out of fuel. I am burning through equipment and tanks, but the supply hubs are almost done, and when they're built, I will give the Soviets a piece of my mind. But before that, we have more stupid things to do with tanks, so I just want to destroy as many of these divisions as possible. Even if I'm fighting in terrain belonging to my other Axis members, I don't care. I can probably get what I want from this peace deal, and after that, I'm stabbing them in the back anyway. At least the Soviets are down to like 160, 170-ish divisions, so every encirclement helps. I am burning equipment and manpower, but I can take the cost now. I've got a little bit of a buffer going. Just need to collapse these pockets one after another, and to make a dash for Kazan, another one of those supply hubs that's just out of reach of your army usually. So if I can take that, wonderful. All right, having made it to Kazan, the road is now open for the next push. Ideally, I make these pushes from my own terrain, but I'm rolling with the punches here. Supply is what it is. It's never going to be great here, so let's try to cut off more of the Red Army and advance. Am I deploying more units? I probably shouldn't. Yeah, let's conserve manpower. 6 tanks isn't a huge amount, but it's gonna have to do. Any second now. I think 1 or 2 more victory points and that'll be it. And there goes the Soviet Union at last. I don't think I'll be able to get a lot out of this, but we'll try to take as many of our claims claims as we can, as much territory as possible. I need Luga, I need Leningrad. Everything else is nice because we have claims there, but it's certainly not something I'm going to aggressively push for. And because nice peace deals isn't something we do, I have created a patch. Okay, so I have created a patchwork of Swedish Russia with German Reich here. Wonderful, beautiful. I love this. I just absolutely love this. And I'm gonna start asking some divisions from my puppets. We are now going to go to war with the Germans as soon as possible. I just need to reorganize everybody into a semblance of an army, and then we can start driving to victory. So I'll put my puppets divisions here on this new border I have with the Germans. And my own army I'll put on my own border with the Germans, and we'll rush everybody down here. We have business to take care of. Oh my god, Germany managed to land troops in the UK. That is bad. Well, bad. Look at this. This is bad. All right, I need to bring all of my divisions home as fast as possible now. I'm gonna leave the faction and cancel all of your military access and my military access. There we go. Germany has canceled the non-aggression pact, but I don't think they have a war goal on us, so it doesn't matter. Let's justify a war goal for a claimed state. Takes 15 days. Okay. Let's also make sure the Air Force is aware of what we're about to do. And we've got our war goal. I am going to declare. I'm not going to call my puppets in. Yes, I am aware that this is drawing Japan into the mix. Honestly, I don't care. Put the Navy on strike force again so it can shield me from naval invasions. And now we're going to walk into the north of Germany, while Germany really can't do much to us. Yeah, most of their divisions are elsewhere. Oh, the fall of London. That's not good. Ooh. I wonder how Germany managed to get that many troops into the UK. Still, it doesn't matter. Those troops are now not home to defend, you know, Germany itself. Let's just drive to Berlin while we're here. I'll be honest, it feels a bit like an anticlimax after that hard-fought campaign in Russia. The German army's just not home. They're all still here, garrisoning the massive front line with the new Russia I've somehow concocted. It's hideous. I know, guys. I know it's hideous. Yeah, I think the German Reich is going to fall without all that much fuss. Not a whole lot of fuss to be found here, to be honest. Now to just take out the remains of the Axis forces here, and we can split the loot accordingly. And there we go. Peace deal. Let's grab our Baltic coast and call it a day. I really don't want any more than that. And that was another disgusting peace deal, but I think we got what we wanted out of it. So we may not have gotten all of our claims, and the world looks a lot more disgusting than it usually does, but I think the Swedish Empire is back on the map. We've retaken everything required to click this button. All I have to do is integrate Estonia and Latvia, and I can call this a win. And it's done. It took me a little longer than expected because I got bored and decided to sidetrack into stealing the African Unions. Kingdom of Sweden leads the African Union, which I still find incredibly funny. But here we are. We can proclaim the restoration of the Swedish Empire. Clickety click clack. It does nothing on the map, but now we have Gustavus Adolphus II, and he is the Great. By the time you can click this button, the bonuses he gives are pointless, but I got to click the button, and Gustavus Adolphus is back in the saddle. Sweden is where it belongs, on top of the world. A weird and wacky world where nothing matters and nothing makes sense, like Germany, who are still here. Yeah, apparently Hitler just got exiled to Mongolia. That has been my preliminary take on Sweden. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was actually rather fun playing it. Needs a little bit of work, but this is definitely one of the focus trees of all times. Hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you guys will enjoy the next one as well. See ya.